when you leave your hometown as a young man, your life can change forever, just like that. Just like that. I remember the first time I ever went and did some business outside of my hometown, yeah? So I'm an 18-year-old kid, and I'm going to a trade show for the first time. Took all my stock. This was shoes in particular, right? I took about 10 pairs with me. And at the time, like looking back now, they were like the shittest, shittest shoes you've ever seen in your life. Like buying them off sale websites, and I was going somewhere where they were like reselling shoes, right? So like good trainers that you see in, or sneakers if you're from America, yeah. So I've gone to this trade show and I was selling, and I bought 2 tables, and the amount of stock that I had, I couldn't even fill the gaps. It was like one shoe, big gap, one shoe, big gap. Shit. Anyway, I made 200 quid in sales that day, yeah, which is not a lot of money. Not a lot of money at all. It probably didn't even make any profit. Yeah. I even priced my stuff lower because I wasn't paying fees. It was like, you know, like 17, 18 at the time. But I realised, this was in Liverpool, by the way, and I realised the traders around me were making money. Like I seen them with stacks of cash, right? And I'm trying to talk to them as well, and they didn't really want to talk to me and this and that. So I thought about it. I thought, you know what, I didn't make money, but people are making money here, so what, you know, there's something else to this, right? And I went back to the next one. I remember I took loads of clothes, I took way more shoes, I took better shoes, I took a lot more stuff, and I got smaller tables, yeah, so it was cheaper. And I went and I was in this van that I used to have, this little cheap van, yeah, and I remember that on that day I made £2,700 in cash, 2,700 quid in cash. It was like the most money I've ever earned in my life. Like, I never even heard of anyone making money like that at that age, yeah. I mean, in general, I never heard of anybody making £2,700 in a single day at that point. Yeah, never. I mean, and it's not even a lot of money, right? Obviously, it's a lot if you get paid every day, that, but as a one-off, it's not like a life-changing amount of money. But I felt like I won the lottery, yeah. I felt like I won the lottery. I remember ringing my dad and I was saying to him, Dad, I made 2,700 quid. We're like an insane amount of money, all in cash, like a big fat stack of cash like that. And I felt super rich. Anyway, I followed that same process of like, right, how can I go back to these more often? How can I improve? Where can I travel to more of them? And I started going to like Liverpool, Manchester, London, Glasgow, Birmingham. I went to a different one in Newcastle. I went to Germany, in fact. And I was just thinking, like, I was collecting data and thinking, there's money here. I can make a lot of money at these, right? And then literally a year and a half later, I did a show, and this was the most money I've ever made in a day, and it was 19,000. It was 18 or 19,000 pounds in a single day. Like, truly unbelievable amount of sales, right? And then I was consistently doing like 10 grand, 12 grand, 20 grand, whatever. It was a lot of fucking money, a lot of money, and all that happened because I went out of my hometown. Like, if I'd have just stayed in my hometown, I'd have never found that opportunity. And even though that's like a small, like, I made 2,700 quid in a day, that wasn't profit, that was just sales. I might have made like 600 quid and I was losing my mind over it. But it wasn't the money itself, it was because it flicked a switch. Right, it opened my eyes up to see what was possible. Like, once you see that money can be made, like, your self-belief changes, right? You're more confident and you believe it. Like, when you watch stuff online and you see it in person, yeah, you can't unsee what you've seen. So when you're exposed to money like that, it changes your brain chemistry and like makes you realise what's possible. And that is what happens when you go out your hometown. And the thing is, you have to go put yourself in them opportunities, yeah? You have to put yourself in them opportunities. And look, I've taken that same concept, like I've moved country now, I've always wanted to move. My life's not really been set up for it until recently, so, I've moved away now, and it's just like, you'll just watch the right people come into your life, like that. Like, you're getting opportunities coming, you get opportunities coming to you. And when you're in a new environment as well, like, you choose what you want to do. You choose how you're spending your time, right? You're able to optimize where you live and type of food that you're getting, and it just completely changes your brain chemistry. And look, it doesn't have to be extreme. It's like, oh, you know, I get not everybody can move to a different country, right? It doesn't make sense. But I'm talking about just getting out, getting to the closest major city, right? Even when I was, you know, Leeds city centre's not my hometown. I'm not actually from Leeds, right? But I used to go do market stalls there, so I was making money in Leeds, and that's not a long distance, right? But at my age, nobody my age was going out and traveling around, right? So I were even getting out I was still pretty local, but I was still getting out, and that's when I started earning money out of my home area. And those little bits at a time as well, it sort of makes you, well, it makes you like more comfortable with just going somewhere, rocking up on your own, and just doing something, right? And the thing is, if you don't get out of your hometown, if you don't try and look for opportunities elsewhere, them opportunities are never going to find you. It's a guarantee that they're never going to find you. At least you get out of your hometown and there's a chance. Especially if you're trying to make money for yourself or you're trying to make money online, right? People don't understand how difficult it is to meet people who are making money online, because as soon as people start making money online, they go to London, maybe not London actually, but they go to Thailand, they go to Bali, they go to Dubai, or they go to main cities. You know, when you're from a small town and you're just doing this business, you're on your solo. You're on your solo all the time. And the thing is with that, you can do a lot on your own, you can make a lot of money on your own, but if you've got two people in the same business, you run into a certain type of problem, your friend runs into another type of problem, then you share the solution to the problems, but you've not had to face two problems for it. And that's the benefit of collaborating with people. Now, when you're in your hometown, you haven't got that. You're learning on your own, you're making mistakes, it's expensive, it's lonely, it's not fun. Like, you can get to the position where you're making decent money and you're not having fun, right? And I've never run into an ecom guy in my hometown in the past 25 years. I mean, I've been in ecom for like 7 years. I never, ever, right? Week 1 here, yeah, I met somebody who's out here doing ecom at a very high level. And even like the other day, I were at this like health and wellness place where you get like ice baths and saunas and stuff like that. You can just pay like a membership fee or a daily pass, and it just helps for recovery with the hips and stuff like that from Muay Thai. And I met two guys in there, these Dutch guys, and I've got a B2B channel for my business, my email marketing, right? And I did this video like breaking down a guy called Vince Nijhoff, and he's like a Dutch high-level ecom guy, okay? And I was asking these guys, because I knew they were in ecom, right, that I'd met, what's your opinion on this type of video? I'm always looking for feedback to improve, right? And one of the guys actually lived 2 minutes down the road from the guy that I did the video about, right? So it's funny how you can, you know, when you go and put the type of opportunities that you get are like so specific into what you actually need. Once you start really getting out your comfort zone and pushing yourself to go and meet people and get out there. Because when you do go somewhere as well, when you do get out your hometown, you're on like a mission, right? Now what the normies do, you know, they come to places like this, they sit around smoking fucking fags and drinking changs all day, and then they go home broke and they came out here. That's not the play, right? If you go and get out your hometown, but you're on a mission, this is the difference. When you're on a mission and you've got a focus, whether that's, you know, making money or meeting people or improving your business, you start finding a lot more opportunities because you're driven and you're there on a mission, you're there on a purpose. And that's what happens when you push yourself to get out your comfort zone and get out your hometown. Really, really powerful stuff. Really powerful stuff. You know, I recommend this to anybody. This will change your life. This will change your life. And again, I'm not talking about, oh, you've got to move somewhere like this. Just go to the city centres, go to a networking event, go to a expensive hotel and go sit and get a coffee and go talk to people. Go, if you see someone pull up in a car that you like on the street, ask them what they do for a living, right? You've got to go and put yourself in these scenarios. And if you're from a small town, if you're from like one of these forgotten towns like I am, listen, people that are making money in the ways that you want to make it, they're not spending too much time there. So you have to go put yourself in that scenario. And yeah, it's going to take some sacrifice, right? You're not going to be able to speak to everyone you want to speak to. Yeah, you're gonna go there on your own. You're gonna be taking some risk. You're gonna be getting out your comfort zone, right? But you know, if you want a big payoff, that's the price that you pay. And then it's your choice to make that worth it. So, yeah, highly advise it to anybody. Get out your fucking comfort zone.